Thank you for coming here today, especially the utilities representative.
Thank you for having me here today.
What we are going to do is an exercise to determine the validity of these cards. The point of this is that we're looking at using the incident command system, but it's a seldom used skill. Some of you have been trained more than 10 years ago, and as a result, these should help get you through the process. But we need to make sure that there is enough information on them to get you going in the right direction. What we are doing is a sand table exercise, as basically to bounce it off the tapestry so that you've got a visual reference. The real advantage of this is it creates a common operational picture for all of you to see the same thing. You notice that it's not to scale. We use different parts, different pieces. We've got an HO scale train that's being used as the basis of it with the track, but we've also got matchbox cars that are mixed in here, which are again different size. All this stuff basically we turned up from our kids' play boxes, eBay, Craigslist, that sort of thing. The green stripes are supposed to represent forest. The blue stripe is representing a river that is coming through here. The trees are just added to give you a visual reference. The real event, we're looking at this thing being about a mile and a half up the track. The proportions are a bit off. Any questions? Okay, let's go ahead and begin the exercise then.
It is a warm day in early summer. There is a slight breeze blowing from the northwest. It is after the afternoon break. Crews are working on brush clearance in advance of wildfire season. The work site is in a relatively flat area just before the incline to a tall mountain. A river runs alongside the train tracks for several miles. The river flows north with whitewater rapids and trout fishing areas that draw many sport enthusiasts. The railroad and outdoor sports tourism are the area's only economic engines. Two crews are clearing brush along the railroad right-of-way 1 mile north of the main regional train yard and administrative center. One is a maintenance of way crew from the railroad. The other is a tree trimming contractor working for the electric utility company. They are working collaboratively to create a large fire break by clearing their adjacent land at the same time. The crews are using power tools to cut off tree limbs and cut down saplings. The train right-of-way continues for hundreds of miles, but the utility company's land abuts a state park just before the land begins to rise into the mountains about 2 miles to the south. There is no road in or out from the isolated wilderness area. The utility crew has special overland trucks that traveled along the railroad right-of-way, and the train crew used their high-rail trucks. Suddenly, one of the utility contractors strikes a spike that has been hammered into a tree to deter logging and create sparks. The sparks fly on the breeze into a pile of cleared, dried brush material and ignites a fire. By the time the crew gets the fire extinguishers from their trucks, fire is spread through the duff on the forest floor and into the high branches through embers from the debris pile. Downwind of the work area is the railroad's regional yard. There is a headquarters building with about 25 employees working there today. Another maintenance crew is working on the track in the yard, replacing the combustible ties with concrete ties that are more resilient to wildfires. The yard includes a 40 by 25 foot tool shed and a 25 foot by 25 foot hazardous materials storage shed with adjacent diesel fuel dispensing facility. The tool shed has cedar shake roof and siding. The hazardous materials storage shed is all metal, roof and walls. The administration building has been retrofitted to be fire resistant with a tile roof, enclosed eaves, and stucco walls. The yard space includes a siding with a helper engine used to help large freight consists to climb the nearby mountain and help manage the descent into the next valley. There are also 2 damaged empty cars awaiting new trucks and a caboose awaiting new wheel bearings. The area adjacent to the work area and train tracks is dense evergreen forest into the highest mountain elevations. The developing fire is moving south on the wind, traveling uphill and toward the yard.
All right, what you're looking at here is an event that occurred a couple of years ago in a rail yard. We actually built the model representation, off of that. You have your cards, you have your assigned positions under the incident command system. Let's start working the event. Based off of this, where do you want to set up the incident command post, and what are your major issues?
Right here, I'd like to set it up, because based on what I see here and the size of the situation, the two things that are sticking out in my mind are, one, how do you get the responders in and out? And two, how long is this thing gonna go on?
Okay. Safety officer, what are your concerns?
One, keep everyone off and away from the fire spread, which is coming in this direction. And then number two, I would say protecting the hazmat storage space and the yard from the fire.
Okay. Plan section, your concerns?
First is getting all this documentation going to stop everyone from asking the same questions that other people are going to have. And second is, where should people be moving?
And logistics, what are your concerns?
Well, based on what I need to inventory, because we are losing daylight, we will need a large supply of water, food, and jackets for the crews that are working outdoors. Because when the sun sets, the temperature will drop. A light unit will help too.
Incident commander, do you have enough information to start formulating a plan?
Yes, I think I have enough information that I can come up with an initial incident action plan. Well, at this point, we want to evacuate everyone that we can into the nearby town that is currently at crosswinds so that they're out of the path of the line of fire. And the ingress and egress of the responders will be through the rail yard and onto right of way. They will have to arrive by railroad way. We need to identify someone as operations chief so that they can manage people, movement, and supplies. We'll need a staging area at the junction of Route X and Railroad Way for firefighting resources as they arrive. I'll need 2 people to go to the staging area to see whether it is usable. It's just a dirt lot, so we have to make sure it's not muddy.
Okay. Utilities, I realize that we really didn't tap into your expertise. You're more of an observer today. Is there anything that we went through today that would conflict with how your organization would respond to a similar type of an event?
Actually, this has been great. What I would like to do is probably keep and take some of these materials with me.
Oh yeah, no problem.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right, in this exercise, everybody's going to be a safety officer, so go ahead and break out the blue card. That'll be the position checklist. What we're going to do is we're going to go through this position as a group, and then we're going to do the same thing for the other positions, for the planning, logistics, incident command, so on. What we're looking at doing is making sure that we're capturing all the necessary information on this thing to make this card practical in the field. And basically a validation of it, and double checking to make sure we didn't miss anything. So with that, let me start with my left.
So yeah, trying to round our people up, we had several situations in the past where people started helping with no direction.
And your observations?
Well, the chemicals stored at the yard and what their dangers are. I would also say maybe the safety of the rails themselves, how the fire may impact the old wooden ties. And I don't really see anyone here who's able to assess what the damage really is.
Okay, and your observations?
How far back do we need to move people? And would it be okay to move any injured if they're in a dangerous location?
Okay. And your observations?
I agree with people going in without direction. At the same time, they have a tendency to avoid safety protocols. They get tunnel vision.
Yeah, the hard part is keeping an open mind while we are looking at the immediate threat at hand. There may be something emerging, such as unexpected wind direction changes or wild animals fleeing the fire.